Okay, today we have a quick lesson about how to get started very organically building a garment in clove from nothing. This is very organic and very quick. This in no way resembles real world pattern making. It simply is going to familiarize you with pattern making tools. I'm going to start with my drafting tools here, the polygon tool. We're going to create a very basic t-shirt. I'm going to start here in my 2D window, center front, where I would want the neck to drop. I'm going to click once, hold shift to be able to draw perfectly straight down, click again, keep holding shift, come across to create the hem sweep, click and then move up to create the side seam. Then I'm going to release shift. I'm going to create 3 diagonal lines that vaguely resemble the arm opening, the shoulder, and the neck opening. Again, this is a very basic shape. This is not how you would construct this in real life, but this will give us a very quick result. I'm then going to take my Edit Pattern tool, and I'm going to right-click on the center line and unfold Symmetric Editing with Sewing. Then I'm going to copy this entire pattern piece, and when I paste it, I'm going to mirror paste it to create a piece that we can use for the back. These two pieces are now here in my 3D window. It does not look like it, but if I move them, you can see there they both are. I'm going to turn on my arrangement points, select the front pattern piece, and place this on the front of my avatar. Then I'm going to do the same with the back pattern piece and place this on the back of my avatar. Now that we have these very simple basic shapes in, I'm going to hide my avatar and sew these shapes together using segment sewing to sew the side seam and the shoulder seam. And I'm going to simulate. Now from here, because this is a very rudimentary shape, it does not fit perfectly. I can make some edits to begin to shape this so that it fits better. I can use my Edit Pattern tool to move the back collar up a little bit. I can use my same pattern tool and nudge the side points a little bit to open up the hem sweep. Whenever I make an edit in between, I'm always simulating to help visualize. I'm then going to use my Edit Curvature tool to help shape various parts of the garment. I will start by shaping the back of the neck, then the front of the neck, and then I will shape the arms to be able to get nicer sleeve openings. So as you can see, I have the beginnings of a basic shell of t-shirt. I can make any edits that I would like to be able to improve the fit. It is really up to the designer as to how far they want to go with any type of edits or changes. Then what I'm going to do is create a very simple sleeve by starting with a rectangle that is 12 inches wide and 4 inches high. 12 inches wide, 4 inches high. I'm then going to use that same Edit Curvature tool to change the shape on the top of my sleeve. Using Edit Pattern, I'm going to Shift select the two pieces for the sleeve opening and see that I get a measurement of approximately 19 1/3. If I use my Edit Pattern to select the top curve that I have made, I can change the length of this so that it is similar to the length that I just looked at my sleeve opening. Now, this sleeve shape is very simple. You as the designer can decide to change this in any way that you would like. You can make a more true to form sleeve cap if you would like. It's completely up to you. I am going to put this on my wearer's left arm, and I'm going to segment sew the underseam. And I'm going to use a very simple free sewing to sew the sleeve into place. I start by sewing the underarm front, click once, click twice at the top of the shoulder, click once on the underarm of the sleeve, click twice where I see the blue picking point, then I'm going to do the same thing for the back. Underarm, bottom, up to the top, top of the shoulder, back of the sleeve, up to the blue picking point. And then with my Edit Pattern tool, I'm going to make a little edit here to extend the sewing. The sleeve will have a little bit of ease. That's okay. I'm going to turn on simulation to see how my sleeve looks. It is okay. It's not great, but it's good enough for what I'm doing. And then I am going to make the symmetric copy of the sleeve by selecting it, clone pattern with linked editing, symmetric pattern with sewing, and simulate. There we have a basic t-shirt to start with. Here I'm going to show an alternate way to create our sleeve cap. I'm again going to use my polygon tool, and I'm going to create a half symmetric polygon that will start our sleeve. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click once, which would be the top of the sleeve cap. I'm going to add one segment point, but I'm not going to standard click. I'm going to right click. This is going to allow me, most importantly, to do mirror creation. When I check this box, you will see that it begins to draw along the local axis. I want this to draw mirrored directly across horizontally, which is across the y-axis. And then click OK. And as you can see, I'm now drawing in both directions. So I'm going to create a shape that looks like a very symmetrical sleeve. We have to add the curves to this now. Okay? So we have a symmetrical shape. But what we're going to do is we're going to smooth this with the Smooth Curve tool. I'm going to use the Smooth Curve, start by clicking here and clicking here. And then I'm going to select this line to replace. Now I can move this to make it curve. Now, why did I do that? Well, primarily I did that so that when I use my Edit Pattern tool, I now have Bezier handles, which will allow me to make a sleeve that looks a little bit more realistic in terms of its shape. So how big is this compared to our sleeves? Well, our sleeve opening, if we shift select these two segments with our edit pattern tool, is about 19.5. So we need these lines to be about 10 inches because these are separate, these are halved. So I'm going to change the length of this line, and this line, I'm going to change it to 10 inches. Okay, as you can see, it is extending the line, and I'm going to click OK. My shape is a little bit extreme, so I'm going to use my edit pattern tool and simply drag this out so that this shape looks more like a sleeve. And I can adjust these Bezier handles so that the curves are as I want. Finally, I'm now, so that I can get a symmetric copy of this, I am going to remove linked editing. And I can now sew these pieces together. Now this is split directly down the middle. So I can either free sew them or I can segment sew them. I like to free sew them so that I can see where the sewing stops here. And I will use my edit sewing to adjust this a little bit so that I have the ease at the top. And I will segment sew the underseam and use my arrangement points to place these. Place this here and simulate to see how this looks. And finally, I can create my symmetric pattern with sewing for my other sleeve. And that is the second option for creating a sleeve in Clo using mirror creation.